G'day everybody, my name is Lukey and I'm a Streamaholic.
Hello everybody, my name is the Warship and I'm a Streamaholic.
Okay, welcome to Streamaholics. I don't know what happened there. It was in studio mode. You try to get ahead of things, and I've got it in studio mode, so I've got the next one flipping in, and then it didn't work.
I'm just sitting here waiting with it like this, waiting for the drink to open. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh no.
Sorry guys, sorry Shippy, that was all my bad once again. I mean, I'm doing this on purpose, of course. This is how we start Streamaholics.
Why would it be organized? Well, I have no idea.
Yeah, as I said in the intro before the intro, my name is Lukey and Shippy. Well, the Warship has joined me once again. How you going, Shippy?
Good, real good. It has been a day. It has been a long day. So I apologize for being late. We've had a bunch of stuff to do, and yeah, just getting ready for kid's birthday as well as a bunch of stuff to do with the new office. And my phone broke like 2 days ago, so I had to get a new one sorted out. And I have to do that like today.
It's all happening here at G. Yeah,
it is busy. all happening. But now we're here now. We have a good time. We can get into some pretty interesting stuff this week by the looks of things.
Yeah, there's just
I'm excited.
Yeah, I just talked about it briefly before. If anyone was here, we're just talking about the topics that we're going over. There's just a few like what would you call them, like Twitch celebrities that have made some comments this week, which makes for some interesting chats, I think. So we'll probably just get stuck straight into it. Welcome everybody in chat. We'll just feel free to chat away in the chat as we go too, so we can make sure that you're all part of it as well as we go.
Oh, absolutely, as
much as we can while we're ranting away and doing our thing. All right, so the very first thing off the top of the what do you, I don't even know, the top of the hat, the top of the list off the top. Is the comments that XQC made this week about not chasing your Twitch stream or discouraging people. I'm going to bring up the article here and just read the very start of it, so anyone who doesn't know about what we're talking about can catch up. That's not the right article, that's a different one. This is the one right here. XQC explains why you shouldn't chase your dreams of being a Twitch streamer. XQC is one of the biggest Twitch streamers as well, we know that. On the platform, he's made millions, blah, blah, blah. This is just a little breakdown. During a recent Twitch stream, XQC warned his viewers about chasing their dreams and how the mindset of unchecked optimism can be a big problem, especially if your dreams include making millions on the Amazon-owned streaming platform. To this end, XQC takes a shot at those who have made it encouraging others to chase their dreams in hopes of replication. Like I made, this is his quote, like I made it or whatever, right? So of course, who speaks like this? Like I made it or whatever, right? So of course I'm like, yeah man, just follow your goals, lol. But that's not true though. You can't follow what I say blindly, because the reality is you will fail. Not you, I'm not saying you, but most people. I think we'll just that's kind of sums up what he's saying. Have you heard about that during the week at all, and have any thoughts on it?
Yeah. Well, honestly, like the thing is that he's right and wrong. Yes, there are issues here where XQC's obviously made it, and he's obviously succeeded, and he did do a bunch of esports stuff, and he's a massive troll as well documented. But at the same time, he's seen success from it, and I think that what he's trying to say is that don't go into every stream just going like, I'll be streaming to 10 people for a couple of months, and then it'll blow up, and I'll have millions of people and millions of dollars, and because it doesn't work for everyone. I've had this conversation a million times with my own people, talking about how, just because you want to do something when it comes to streaming doesn't mean you necessarily will. Everyone should chase it if that's what they're interested in doing, but it takes a certain kind of person. It takes long days and longer nights and a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work, a lot of people on the back end helping as well. Like, even at my level, I know that I wouldn't be able to survive without people like Bestia, and my moderation team overall, I wouldn't be able to survive with what I'm doing on stream. But that being said, like, that's one small part, and at my level I have that. But if you don't have that at my level or below, you're already on the back foot. That's like one small piece of the puzzle. There's there's the fact that I've literally come from a birthday party. I've got food. I have dim sims right here. Probably not going to eat them until they're cold. I've gone. I've done a whole bunch of stuff today when it comes to my life, and I've done a lot of streaming stuff as well. And now I walked in the door, literally sat down, literally started work. And now that's something that I'll do, 6 days a week, 5-6 days a week, without even a second thought. So you really have to be like constantly working. And it's not for everyone. You can't expect to have, your COD streams. Like, I know I pick on COD so much here, but you can't have your COD streams where you've got like 3-4 people in there and you're like doming people and you're like, yo, I'm the best at this game, but I'm not going to talk to my channel and I'm not going to interact with my community and expect to all of a sudden become an XQC. That's not how it works. Like it takes work, lots and lots of work. And I guess I admire what he's said, in the fact that he's said that get a real job, because like as the world kind of moves forward in this content creation sphere is becoming wider and wider, we're losing things like doctors and other professionals in industries that we need to have in industries. So I understand where he's coming from, but at the same time I think that it's a little bit of a dick move when he's literally done the same thing. So
yeah, I will add here, I probably should have gone further down in the article, but I felt like I'd read enough of it. But as you were talking there, I remembered he said something about a plan B. So yeah. I'll read this last part of his quote here, just to I know I agree, chat. I don't actually like the dude. He is a massive troll, but this here will sort of bring it back a little bit from what he said there at the start. Says some people will make it, but if everybody says, you know what, dude, I'm going to succeed because he said I will, and everyone goes all in with no plan B, you're going to have a lot of people, a lot of very broken down, homeless, stunned people with no other options. So he kind of does bring it back into perspective a little bit there about what he's talking about. Yeah,
he's not just being a troll for the sake of being a troll and saying, don't try to follow your dreams, kids, you don't deserve them, you're not going to get them. He's saying, not everyone can do this, and it might not work the way that you think it will. So just be aware of that and try to understand that, you know what I mean? Like,
so I think like I think what he's saying is, and this is something that I've always spoken about, like right from the very beginning, like a lot of the research I did before I even started streaming 3 years ago was like not putting all your eggs in one basket was one of the things. Being unique was always one of those things. We've spoken about these things before. I think what he's trying to say there, and the part that I actually agree with, is like if you start streaming and that's your only thing, like say you come out of high school, you're a young person, you don't have a job, or you've got a part-time job working at a checkout somewhere, or like just small coin on the side. I'm going to be a streamer or a YouTube star, and I'm just going to sit down and I'm just going to do it. Like, unless you have plans and plan Bs and you're diversifying content and you're creating stuff elsewhere and you go into it with a real structure and a plan of a way to attack it, then you're going to be up for a lot of heartbreak. And he's probably right. You probably are going to fail. Unless you really, really catch something really unique and lucky that just for some reason is viral or whatever it might be that just takes off. But for the most part, the people, the small amount, and it is still a small amount of people that do crack through and make this into like a proper full-time thing. Like it is, you do actually have to go into it with a plan and work really, really hard. And like I always say, and a lot of people always say, I agree with them, diversifying content and really making a plan of attack as to where you put your content too, as to giving yourself the best chance.
Sorry, just a second here. This is botched on me. I just pushed a button here, and now I'm I'll switch to wired, I think, for a minute. Hang on. Don't mind me.
What about you guys in chat? Just put in your thoughts about the whole
God damn it! I
situation.
pushed a button.
While we wait for the
I'm still
shippy.
learning.
I'm
still learning with this. I'm not sure what button does what right now.
I think he's pressed the wrong button. He might have just pressed the mute button. He just can't figure it out. They look really nice though. I like them. Now we can't hear him. Microphone's off. Nah, can't hear you, mate. Shippy! I'm just loving this because it's usually me that stuffs up. This is good though. Is someone in chat want to translate Shippy? Or do the caption, auto captions? No, he's gone. I can't hear you, mate. I don't know whether he can hear me. Can you hear me? Oh, he can hear me. I can't hear you, mate. I need that elevator music I used to have. Yay! He's back.
Yeah. Voice mod was being stupid. It wasn't even the headset. It was voice mod not working properly.
Damn voice mod.
God damn it. Well, I'm back. Sorry about that.
No worries. Well, I don't know where we were.
I caught a bit of it.
XQC.
Yes.
I'm trying to jog my memory here. I asked chat while we were waiting to just chuck their thoughts on their situation in the chat. Got kicked out of 2 esports teams. Yeah, I think like he's coming from a different perspective too, and I hope this is what he means. Like he comes from like the old school, like first movers on the platform that grew with a sort of new platform as well. So a lot of those older guys, and we've spoken about this before too, like your Shrouds and your Ninjas. Obviously Ninja went viral with a few things a couple of years ago, but he was already quite a big streamer on the Twitch platform before that. These guys got in early and grew with a platform, and that's why they chose they chose right back then and put in the hard yards then. But like we've spoken about, you can't really just do and provide the type of content that these guys do now and expect to grow with how oversaturated the industry is, and especially Twitch. Yeah.
No, the whole platform is really like I said, even within people in my sort of zone, like as far as like partners that I know go, there are a lot of partners who were legacy partners, and they came in at a time where the platform didn't really exist, so much, and they were able to get themselves their partner tick real easily, and they were able to do a bunch of other stuff like around establishing themselves and their base like early on. But now, as you see, most of them sit well behind people like myself and other streams where it's just like there's just literally nothing, no difference between you have this partner tick and I don't, but you have no one in your streams, and like businesses will talk to them and all that kind of stuff, but it's because they're legacied in. So there's certainly there's an aspect there where a lot of these people came in at the right time, and some people made some real success out of that right time, but it doesn't mean that you can't make success now either. Like success can really exist at this point, even where we're at now, and everyone is growing. We're finding new people all the time, and because as people leave, more people come into the fold. So I understand completely where he's coming from, and I do agree with him, because we had a thing with wrestling as well, where it was always like, make sure you have another job, make sure you get yourself an accreditation, go to university, get yourself something, because if you don't get something, if wrestling doesn't work out, you've got nothing. And the same thing applies to streaming, like get yourself a degree, get yourself a sound degree or engineering degree, get something even related to the industry if you want, but make sure you've got something there. And don't throw all your eggs into one basket, because kids these days, they will. I think it's like the most requested job whenever they ask kids at school these days is like, what do you want to be? They're like a content creator, a YouTuber, a Twitch streamer, because they see their parents do it or their friends do it, or and make good money out of it, real good money in some cases. So of course it's going to become the big thing. And ain't nobody want to sit around and become a doctor for another 6 years at school if you can just go log into your computer and play video games.
Yeah, I think that's the lure, isn't it? The whole I can earn lots of money to play video games.
Now they have died. Just to let you know, now they have died.
Your headset's gone.
Hang on. What? Ah! Hang on a second. I'll be right back.
That's all I've got is a cheering sound at the moment, so we're going to go with that. Now, what else have we got? Booze.
Ooh, you suck.
We suck. Yeah, he hasn't charged them. They look flash, though. They look pretty good if they're charged. So I don't think I'll ever go to... Oh, no. So I was just going to say I'm never going to go to a wireless headset, but I've just got a standing desk that I haven't set up yet. So that just was a stupid comment that I was about to make. Yeah, I've got a standing desk that I'm about to set up, so I had to buy some wireless headphones. And this time, keep them away from the kids, because I got these old Turtle Beaches myself, but I had like the new Turtle Beach 800 Elites or whatever they're called, and kids got to them, snapped the whole arms on them, and they're like dangling around, and I used to gaffer tape them together and still wear them on stream. But they're I finally threw them in the bin and went back to my old ones.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I
You
can
can't
hear you.
talk?
Yes.
You can probably hear me, but I can't hear you.
Oh, okay.
Turn this up. No.
I didn't want to talk about XQC anyway, really.
Why is this? Why is this doing this to me? This is the question.
Always something.
It should be headphones.
This is
That
just a
should be all I
lesson
need
for
to
all
do.
of you out there.
Now, wait. I've got it. Ah. No. Shit. I thought I had it. You can hear me though, can't you? That's the worst part. Yep. Ah, man.
I can turn you on mute though. Here we go. I've got him on mute now, so you guys can't hear him. But yeah, my kids were Alexa, I'm gonna put him back on actually, so we can hear him go through this troubleshooting, because this is quite entertaining.
Hello.
Hello. He's speaking through my mouth. Ready?
Me? No. Yes. Me. Ah. Wait. No. I can't hear you. All right. Get my old ones.
Yeah, could ya? Next minute, he's got his pants off or something. He stood up. He didn't know he was on camera. Nah, you better not do that to him. I've got my Stormtrooper pajamas on tonight. I usually got my bluey pajamas on. My wife does my pajama shopping. But at least I've got Stormtrooper's pajamas on tonight. So it's not much of a shock. It's usually just a shock during the
Now,
summer
why
if
can't
I
I
stand
hear
up.
you actually speaking? Voice video.
Hello.
Default device. Let's make it there.
Oh, Archer. Nice. I've watched Archer in a long
Now
time.
I
I
can
love that
hear.
show.
Now I can hear you.
Hello. And we're back. Well, these ones aren't as nice as the other ones. The other ones look flash.
No, they're not. No, they're really not. The other one's super flash. These are my old ones. And the only reason I didn't put the other ones on is because they didn't respond when I turned them on. But I got a whole bunch of headsets and stuff, and yeah, I just for some whatever reason there, I couldn't get any of that to work. It's because it had to happen right now. That's the problem. And I haven't tested any of it. And I legitimately thought I had spent all this time charging it, but I mustn't have had the plug-in or something. I've never had wireless headphones before. It's the first time I've ever had them.
I was just saying I wouldn't go to wireless headphones again, but then I realized I've just purchased some with my. I've got a standing desk I'm going to set up, and I felt like I needed wireless to be able to like be more moving around in the stream. Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm going to go through all that pain and heartache soon.
No. Yep. What I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to get myself a proper dedicated spot here, and just like like a little charging plug for the wall or something, and plug it in that way somewhere that's not the computer. Only plug the USB into the headphones, not to the power brick or the PC. No, I plugged it into the PC. Ha! It still didn't work though. I didn't know what I did. Sorry about that. I've disrupted the entire stream today.
That's all right. All good. This is what streaming is. You know, there's always things that get thrown in the works.
It really is. everyone has seen my streams. It's nothing but chaos most of the time. So,
That's good.
right. So XQC, a bit of a dick, but he said things that aren't that bad.
Yeah, to sum it up. We'll just go with that. All right. So should we move on from that topic? Because I think
Yeah, let's move on. Because we're never ending that topic. We
Let's
seem to
move
keep
on.
botching over it. So let's just go on to the next
what
one.
else did I have here? The next topic. I know that one thing off the top that I was gonna. Oh, the one thing that I didn't mention to you before that I was gonna bring up as well is I might bring that up last actually. With the next one I'm gonna bring up is Facebook gaming and what they've been doing the last month. We were talking last episode about the little dip that Twitch was having in viewership.
Yeah.
And I spoke about the last quarter's results. So we're talking about April to June's results. So 3 months worth. Facebook for the first time crossed the 1 billion mark and was at 1.1 billion for the quarter. In July alone, so following that quarter, Facebook gaming just hit 500 million hours watched in that 1 month. So they've gone about half of their record in 1 month rather than 3. So that'd be on that. They'll be basically definitely going to crack the 1.1 again, and they would be on track to crack about 1.5. So in a month where Twitch was having a bit of a downturn, Facebook has had a bit of an upturn. So that's
interesting.
Interesting. I think it's good for when we talk about XQC and his mention of not having a plan B and that sort of thing. I think just giving, and this is sort of where I came from as when I first started streaming myself, was that's why I never touched Twitch. So I was listening to the Professor Bromans of the world and listening to their podcasts and reading those sort of articles of people that were giving advice on streaming back in the day. This is like 3 years ago. And that's the reason why I ended up on Facebook in the first place. And it was a toss-up for me at the time when I first started as to whether I was going to go Mixer or Facebook. We've talked about YouTube, but I never touched YouTube, but I've always been curious about it. But anyway, so I did the Facebook and the Mixer thing because knowing about the discoverability problems that Twitch has, I never wanted to even attack that monster. And so I was always of the, well, let's get in early on a new platform like a Facebook or a Mixer. Rest in peace. And just kind of grow with the platform like the XQCs and the Shrouds and the Ninjas that we spoke about with Twitch, 5-6 years ago, as Twitch grew. So that was my sort of planning.
Exactly right.
But yeah, interesting for Facebook.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. Like, honestly, that's something that we're looking at as well, approaching the idea of maybe sampling some across the other side of the pond as well, and just seeing how it actually plays out. Because it's definitely an interesting platform. I've gone into do a little bit more work into it since the last time we spoke, and I've actually converted my page on Facebook so that it displays more as a gaming page anyway.
Sweet, that's really cool.
It's worth having a look at, worth looking into further, but at the same time, it's like I don't want to put any coins in. I don't put all my eggs in one basket, regardless. And that's only because you don't know when it comes to what will work and what won't work on platforms. It's definitely worth having a look at. My tune has changed a little bit in the recent times because I did very much so go heavy into Twitch only being the one that was discoverable the most and the one that didn't require any kind of actual names being used and would allow for anonymity and everything. But seeing the relationship that can form between YouTube and Facebook, as opposed to like that, the fact that that's open, as opposed to the fact that Twitch is closed from everyone else, that's interesting. The fact that you're allowed to do live stream across both platforms is interesting. It's definitely worth looking into, I think.
I think it goes back to like with the Twitch having those sort of really, really old school rules and really stern rules about not being able to restreams because they've got they know they're the first movers, and it's kind of old language, I think, still written into a lot of their stuff. It's like the 50-50 splits on their the revenue that you can get through Twitch through the bits and subs and stuff too, and the fact that YouTube and Facebook can come out and like YouTube's got like a 70-30 split in favor of the creator, and Facebook at the moment up until 2023 isn't taking any of the splits of donations, if like through desktops. Obviously I've put an asterisk to that because mobile's different, but
Yep.
Yeah, it's like Twitch is at the moment deciding that we don't really need to move on this, although that was part of the Twitch Do Better hashtag. There was a small element of that where people were calling for a better looking after their creators better financially, rather than this massive company like Amazon taking as much as they possibly can.
I mean, it's a lot of money. It's like a lot of money, the difference between like they really need to start doing better when it comes to, especially income side of things. Like, huge difference there between like 70% or 0%. Like, that's a huge difference there between the not even 50. It's bullshit if you think it's 50% of Twitch. It is easily they're taking 70%. Like, if someone spends $7.99 now, we're getting maybe $1.50, $2 now. If I had to average it back down again, we were only getting $2.30, I think, out of a $10 subscription. So even if it's still $2.30, it's still $2.30. That's not, it's not half.
Yeah.
It's not half. And that's not good enough. When you consider Amazon is literally like, is there anything even more financially sound than Amazon in business? I don't know if there is.
No, and that's some of the stuff that I've been listening to when I watch a lot of, because I do still research a lot of these things and follow a lot of people. Like, I watch the Harris Hellers and the Devon Nashes of the world, and Devon's been pretty big on, especially recently too, about Twitch over the last 4 years since Amazon's been in the game. His words recently were that Twitch is gonna like make it and it's gonna be more profitable, but he still says his prediction is it's still going to remain sort of like a niche corner of the internet, although it will start to make more money from ads and they'll get better at that sort of thing. It's never going to compare to like the YouTubes and that in terms of a content place overall, because there's just so much content of different sorts on those other platforms. But he was just saying over the last 4 years since Amazon purchased Twitch, he can really tell that Amazon is using Twitch as a funnel to get more Amazon Prime subscribers and users.
Like, they have said that like their Amazon side of things when it comes, the Twitch side of things when it comes to Amazon doesn't even touch the sides. Like, not even, it's not even a drop in the ocean when it comes to the money that they make through all the other ventures through Amazon itself and everything else. So like, Twitch doesn't give them anything. Like, the money that they get from it, yet they still take a large portion. I am positive it doesn't cost that much to run this app. Like, I'm positive it doesn't cost that much to run any of this. They're just taking it because they can. And that sucks, and it doesn't benefit creators. It shows where we stand on the hierarchy of like creator versus company. It shows that there will always be more that do it, and that's the thing too. Is that for everyone who gets up in arms about it and says, go and get, I'm leaving, I'm going to go to Facebook, there's 30 other people who will take the place. So they don't need to. They don't need to say anything more. They don't need to do anything better or worse, because regardless, people will still be on the platform. You will not see a mass exodus like you did with like at the end of Mixer or anything like that. You won't see people just like abandoning it and going back over. Like, Twitch will just survive because they'll always have a way for it to be there, and they know that. And even if it doesn't survive, they don't care, because it doesn't do anything for their financials. They look at their quarterly results, and Twitch is this tiny little dot down the bottom. Like, they don't care, so they don't need to do better.
I think like, unless, and this isn't going to happen, this is why, like what you're talking about, it'd take like some of the biggest streamers on Twitch to start leaving, like a good number of them. But they're not going to, because they're the people that they're going to benefit. They're going to keep making more and more money from Twitch as they improve their ad platforms. So those people are right. Like, you can take certain amount of the Twitch cut or whatever, and it would, that'd be nice to get 70%, but they can take a certain amount of cut from their subs. But like the lowering the Twitch sub amount by country, whatever that was called, based on your cost of living, that's not going to affect the huge streamers like XQC, because they're the people that are going to get more subs now, because like people without as much money can sub. So
exactly right.
They're not going to leave. They're going to get more money.
It doesn't benefit. It doesn't affect the larger streamers. It affects the smaller streamers. Because they get less money at the end of the day. So like, there's no change for those guys unless something goes really crazy, and a lot of those major players take notice and then say, "Well, enough's enough." It's not going to change anything. So there's no point in even worrying about it, complaining about it. That's why now my stance has changed a fair bit, and I do encourage people to look around and make sure you find the right streaming site for you, whether it is here or whether it's Facebook or whether it's YouTube or whether it's Trovo. You know, there's another one coming up as well, and then you've still got Brime Live, which will never ever launch, but you still have that. That's there. I'm pretty sure it was a meme the whole time.
I think so. It's got to have been.
But like, yeah, honestly, you do your research, look around, because at the end of the day, you might lose people if you decide to move to another place for a bit, but you will get more people. People will come back around. People will visit. You know, like it can be very, very scary. Like I'm a perfect example of that. Is that the reason I haven't dipped my fingers into another platform is because I'd be worried that I would lose a bunch of my people because they wouldn't want to be there. But yeah, like it's really a situation where people don't leave because they're afraid of what will happen if they do. And
yeah,
you know, that being said, if you look at the big players who did leave, look how much money they made. Look how much money like Ninja made and XQC made when they left.
Yeah,
you know, they made a lot of money out of it.
Just to come back and get another deal out of Twitch anyway.
Yeah, exactly right. So at the end of the day, have a go. Try it out. You might like it more somewhere else. You know, who knows?
Yeah, I totally agree. I reckon try out other platforms because, and like for yourself, like if you're going to dabble in some Facebook, like it will be different. Like you're going to find it like that side of things or the content that you're providing over there is going to be almost essentially like that side of things is starting from scratch. So it's going to be down.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you're willing to put in the yards and realize that, you know, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be like when you first started on Twitch. So you're still going to do your Twitch stuff, but over here, this is starting from back when you first started. So you're hoping...
Yeah. I have to talk to the mod team and everything like that, but there is a chance that we'd end up doing like 1 or 2 days a week just to see what it's like. Because, yeah, like I said, one thing that does come from Facebook is that you can't be anonymous. So a lot of people... unless they make a page just to watch streams, like a lot of people can't, and they don't want to do that either. So it's interesting, and it's definitely food for thought. We went a bit on topic there, but I think it kind of does wrap back around to where we needed to be. So
yeah, no, I think it's nice. It's like I like talking about these sort of things. There was something I was going to mention about the Devon Nash thing, but I don't think that really matters right now.
Yep.
Yeah. So the other thing that I was gonna speak about was chat brings up Pokey just before. There's been some news that I read just today actually about Pokemon also experiencing some pretty severe burnout again.
Yeah. Okay.
And wanting to take some time off. So I know that's been something we've spoken about before in terms of burnout, but having one of the biggest creators. It'll be the second time in about just over 12 months where she took a month off like 12 months ago because of burnout, and now she's facing that again. So I think it's an interesting thing to speak about because when you talk about the people that like XQC is talking about that are going to enter the streaming game and want to be like millionaire streamers, I'm just going to play video games and be a millionaire, they don't realize that the pressure and the stress that comes from if you ever were to be one of those 0.00001% that everyone wants to be, that so much relies on you being live 6 hours every single day without fail. If you take a day off, you lose probably at that point thousands of dollars. Like it's a very, very stressful thing, and it doesn't escape even the top people, probably even more so because they got more to lose.
Like at the end of the day, like I get it, or I really do. Like I am very much so in that bubble, that mindset. I totally understand the feeling. Speaking of someone who is in the top 0.003, I think it is %.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's where I sit in the scheme of things. Like the top 3%, 0.3 or whatever it is. Like speaking of someone who's in that percentile range at the moment, I will tell you that I get stressed because if I'm not on 5 days a week, the money, even though it's nowhere near as much as someone like that, but the money that we get from it does affect my family. You know, we have less when that happens, and Like if the numbers aren't where they need to be, then we have trouble. And like there's a lot of stress. And we had a real big partner push recently. We really tried to go nuts and get ourselves that tick, because we had a lot of positivity going into it. And then the baby came, and just a couple of other external things made it really, really difficult. And then I put a lot of eggs in one basket at once, and I went through a huge amount of burnout because we were so close for such a long time, but we just couldn't break that threshold, those extra few people, whatever it might be. But that's not really how you should be trying to aim for partner anyway. You should be trying to go and smash it. You should be hitting like way above the amount, not like just barely scraping by. So yeah, my own stress and burnout from there was really affecting myself. I tried for it not to affect the streams, and it did do a pretty good job of not affecting the streams either. But at the same time, I could feel myself at the end of every stream going like, oh my God, is it the weekend? I need to stop. I need to breathe. I need to relax. Like, and even though I wasn't doing anything different, even though I was doing literally the same things with the same amount of energy, playing new games, having fun, but it was like one thing would go wrong, and that one thing would be something I'd have to deal with for hours after stream, or one thing would go wrong during the stream, and I'd have people actively working on it during the stream, and I'd be seeing the chatter in the side of my head, and that would set me off. Or there'd be like a day where there was 5 people less than there needed to be for the average to be decent, and that would set me off. Or there'd be days where there was like so many more than there should be, and it was awesome, and then the next day would be like a quarter of that, and that would set me off. I didn't know what to play. I didn't know what to do. The baby was crying all the time. I was getting 2 hours sleep, and it was just thing after thing after thing after thing after thing. And I didn't have the facility to just say, oh, you know what, I'm just going to stop for a week. I even felt when I had the 2 days off, the 3 days off for when the baby was born, that had a big of an issue for it. I felt in my head, because I was so like riddled with grief over the fact that I'd done a shit job, that I thought that having 3 days off had meant that I'd killed it myself. And honestly, it wasn't a good headspace to be in, and I relaxed that. And since relaxing that, we've had another quite a big boon. Yesterday wasn't the best, but we've had a pretty big rise again since then, since just relaxing everything, saying we're not going for it anymore, and just focusing on building community and having a great time, and all the stuff that really brings in streaming in general, like the things that we enjoy about streaming. And it's been a lot better. So like, I definitely get burnout. I definitely understand the concept behind, if I don't stream for 6 hours a day, then I won't have the facility to pay bills, or my sponsors will be big mad, or whatever the case may be, because like there's a lot of things that are involved that people don't understand. People think that you log on and you play games and that's it, and then you go off and then you get money and that's it. But it's not. There's so much more. There's cultivating a community. There's pretty much having your phone active all day, every day, for all the people. I have an app on my phone called Streaming Yorkie, and that automatically lurks. If I can't be in some people's streams, it will send a message. It will run in the background of my phone, and it will say, hey man, I just want to let you know I'm really busy today, but I've got you on lurk, and it will send that lurk message for me, and it will lurk in those people's streams, because I want to be able to support people, but I can't be everywhere at once. So it's literally a 24-hour job, because you know, streaming, if I'm sleeping, chances are one of my friends is streaming. So I don't want to be able to support them all. And then you factor that into it. You factor the fact that the community is quite big. You factor in the fact that everybody, nobody would ask you to sub there, but everyone deserves a sub. But if I subscribe to every person who's currently in the stream team, that's 135 subscriptions. That would I wouldn't even be able to afford it.
And as like full-time streamer, you just can't do it.
Yeah, exactly right. Until you hit a certain point, I'd love to be able to do that, and that's a big goal. I've always said that if we landed a couple of really solid deals where I didn't have to worry about bits or subs or anything like that at all, I would forward that all around back to the mod team.
It's a good idea,
because I believe in that. I think that's a really, really cool thing. I heard about it. I think Broman does it, where he doesn't actually take the subs or the bits, and he actually just gives them back to his team, and that's how the team supports, because they're getting paid and they want to support, so they're always there. And because they do good work, they spend a lot of time, a lot of hours, you know, like people like Bestia who was at the hospital like the day before. He's like, I'll come in, I'll be in the stream. And he stays until 2 a.m.
Yeah.
You know, like you want to be able to support those people who tirelessly edit for you, people who, you know, like who will post if you're sick. You know, me, the entitled streamer with the 100 people in stream saying, oh, I'm not feeling well today. Can one of you guys post in announcements? Because I can't do that. My fingers is broken. Of course I can do it. But because I'm stressed about so much other shit, they're like, yeah, you know, I'll help. Well, let's do it. Bang, bang, it's done. It's no skin off my nose, but that helps me, you know. So of course you want to be able to give back to those people and say, well, you know, here's this. So that's one of the major goals that I have personally. But if you can't stream and there's no revenue source because you're only putting all your eggs in one basket, then of course someone like Pokemon, who my understanding is doesn't really do much on the YouTube, like doesn't really do too much on any other platform except for Twitch. And I think maybe OnlyFans, maybe ? Oh, that's a big thing to talk about as well. But yeah, someone who doesn't really do too much else outside of it, having a day off, even though she's got a shit ton of money already, having a day off could definitely mean like potential issues with sponsors, potential issues with particular viewers, stream teams, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, and I can understand the stress.
Yeah, so she's talking about maybe changing her mentality moving forward in terms of not worrying about the money side of things and more worrying about her mental health, which is, it's great and it's good. Hopefully she's in a position financially where that can still be sustainable for a long period of time, because obviously that money, although it might be a shit ton of money right now, like it's not forever money, like
it might not be right. You got to invest it correctly.
It might be forever money, I don't know, but you know, you can always find ways to spend money pretty easily.
Just get some NFTs, like holy shit, not to turn into mum's basement for a minute, but seeing FaZe Banks, like the flips that he's done recently with his NFTs, like I saw he picked up an NFT for $130,000 and flipped it 48 hours later for $560,000. Like legit, so the floor for NFTs is really high now. It's about 50 grand, they reckon, for most entry level. So even if you just want to get in and get an NFT to start doing it, it's about 50 grand. But he reckons he's got like 3 or 4, maybe even $5 million in it now because he bought them early and he just flips them when he needs them, and then boom, boom, boom. So maybe that's a good place for money as well. You know, you can't endorse that stuff though. You have to say, guys, we're not financial advisors. Don't listen to me, especially. I literally don't even know how to open my wallet.
Yeah, I was going to go put a deposit on a house with that 50 grand until you just said that. Now I might just go buy one of these pretend things that don't exist or whatever they are. I don't even know what an NFT is.
So NFTs are essentially a picture, but it's not just the fact that it's a picture. Everyone's always like, oh, you know, I've copy pasted it, I took a screenshot, now I've got the picture too. But it's about the blockchain. So like, it's about the blockchain. It's about saying, okay, so this was purchased by this person on this date, and you can track it from the very first inception of when it was first bought, and the ownership there, the ownership that proves the blockchain that proves the ownership is the important part. So yeah, of course you can copy paste it, but you don't own it. You own it if you're a part of the blockchain. It's having your name in history, and that's why they're popular. Because like if you could blockchain like the Mona Lisa, you'd know every person who ever owned it over history, and then you'd have a legitimate record of that art. Like I said a few weeks ago, like there was legitimately a NFT sold at Charlie's, which is the actual legitimate real life artwork auction house for $69 million. Like, because it was a meme of 69, haha, that's the sex number. But it was sold at Charlie's, which is like a legitimate auction house. They've had things like, you know, like legitimate artwork, Picasso, all that kind of stuff go through there. And it is this digital art was sold.
So having that record of ownership, that increases the value, obviously, I'd imagine, like especially for
it makes you the actual owner. So anyone can copy paste these things, but you don't own it. You can't sell it because you don't have the blockchain. So you can't go onto like an NFT trading website and be like, I've got this $50 million NFT that I copy pasted, because you don't have the blockchain, like the proof of like the original, who created the artwork and the legacy that leads up to that point. It would just be fake. So there is protections in place for it as well. But again, I'm not this hugely knowledgeable guy when it comes to it.
No,
I just think that it's really interesting.
No, I knew nothing about him, and that's pretty good. I like that. You've just explained it to me. I understand it a bit more now.
They reckon that it's going to be the future when it comes to like the Ethereum and Bitcoin. They reckon within sort of 10 years will become currency that you can purchase everything with in day to day. Ethereum particularly, they think will become its own brand of currency. And yeah, like it's like, you know, be able to buy skins on a PlayStation with Ethereum. And like that's kind of where it's all going when it comes to that stuff. So it's at some point or another, like what FaZe Bank said on the podcast is that at some point or another, you will buy an NFT. Like there is no two ways about it. Whether it's a skin on a video game or whatever it is, you will buy something that has a blockchain value like what we're doing or what's happening now in its infancy.
Yeah, okay.
So it's really interesting to see like what will happen in the future with it. I don't quite understand it myself yet because I haven't, like I said, I don't own any ETH yet or anything like that. I've never been in the position where I can afford to do that. But maybe one day, you know, And yeah, like that for me segues a little bit into another thing that it's not on our list for the day that I wanted to speak about. And that's the OnlyFans thing is going through. It's happened. It was announced today that it's actually happening.
Yeah, so explain what I've read a little bit of it about it, but you probably know more across it than what I am. So
to go back here, it's banning its sexually explicit content. So what happens is at the moment, it's obviously a massive website that is primarily used to show your bits off and get money for. Like honestly, that is the deal. That's the gimmick. That's sort of it's what it's known for.
Yeah.
And the reason that there's such a big uproar about it right now is because they know that the brand has been built on pornography. And they've created this massive legacy on you know, they've got the millions of users who go to OnlyFans, and the adult industry has essentially funded the creation of this whole website genre, or whatever you want to call it. And now they're saying, no, well, fuck them. You know, no more porn allowed. Banned. So in October, all pornography and all pornography OnlyFans sites, everything based around sexually explicit content is being removed. So it is essentially Tumblr 2.0, except paid Tumblr. If you imagine Tumblr, except everyone pays a subscription per month.
So are you allowed to have nudes at all, or is it more explicit stuff that they're banning?
There are a few different perspectives on it here. TMZ has said that OnlyFans to ban porn. And CNN is saying that it's sexually explicit content. So I think it's still a little bit of a grey area as to what will be actually
because some people's definition of what porn or sexually explicit is different to others. So I'm wondering what they're coming down to there.
Yeah, so what it'll mean is that all these people who built this thing from the ground up, who have been on OnlyFans, top 1%ers, you know, I'm sure you've seen on Twitter when you find someone new and their profile picture says top 001% on OnlyFans and things like that. All that stuff is gone. Like all those people, all those creators who work real hard.
I'm just gonna research something right now. I'm wondering if Just Fans is taken as a website.
but that's the thing. That's exactly what will happen. That is the person who takes advantage of this and creates the next one with a similar rule. They're the ones that are going to clean up here. They're the ones going to make bank. Because at the end of the day, like this existed for a reason and it's necessary for a reason. You know, this takes a really, really scary and like ominous industry in the sex industry, and it makes it accessible to people at home. And that gives people confidence, that gives people body positivity, it gives people an income, and all of a sudden they're removing all of it. So you'll be able to have OnlyFans, but check me out in my clothes, you know, sitting here just doing these ones.
It's gonna be like Patreon, really.
It just becomes like a new Patreon. You'll be able to do things like write blogs and video and all that kind of stuff like you could before, but you just can't, you know, show your willy. And so that's the controversy there is the fact that they have had it built by this whole community.
Yeah, that's
and
pretty big.
and now it's just like, nah, go away. We don't want it no more.
That's amazing that a site like that could just that's like if Twitch all of a sudden said no gaming on the website whatsoever.
Yep.
Wow.
It is literally exactly the same thing, because gaming in itself is obviously, well, it's less and less now, but it's obviously a very niche category in general. So to take the sex industry as a very niche category in general as well, and all of a sudden say you can't have it anymore at all, it's not allowed to exist on our site, where do you go? Where do we go? And the same thing would happen if it was with games too. So, at the end of the day, OnlyFans will become the new Patreon. It'll become a place for artists to do, commission work and things like that. It'll probably be a place for social influencers to get, money that isn't going to be Twitch, to get like a Patreon kind of deal. And that will be it. It won't be anything else. And, it may just suffer an exodus as well, in the same way that Tumblr did, where Tumblr was the second they started to soft ban pornography, it caused an issue, and then when they hard banned it, nobody uses the site anymore. I don't even know how to access Tumblr anymore. I don't even know if you go to the website or if it's on the app purely or whatever it is, because it's just gone. The content's dead. It's. I think that you're more than likely than not to see the end of OnlyFans around about maybe this time next year.
That's so crazy.
Because,
I can't believe it.
What do you think? How big it is? Because what are they going to do? You're going to put, check out my bikini only set. That's not. I could go to Instagram and look at your bikini only set.
Yeah, not for paid. That's the whole thing that's weird about it, is because all that content, whether you like it or not, it was behind a locked door. You had to pay for it. It's not like it's readily available for everyone to look at. So it's weird that they're taking that away for some reason, even though it was behind.
It adds a taboo, but a mystique as well, because it's like, you can't have this.
Yeah.
If you want this, you have to pay for it. So it promotes people to spend money, and that's helpful for the brand. It's helpful for the platform. And now they're essentially saying, well, these are photos that you'd be happy to put on Instagram. You could use those ones, but so then where's the incentive for the person buying it?
Has this been a general, what were we talking about a few months ago or a month ago or so, when we're talking about the fact that they had introduced shows to the network that was free? So there was people on there that
TV
were doing
thing.
Yeah, it's the TV, that's right. So people were doing, some creators on there were doing, and from what I saw at the time, it was still a lot of people that were doing the explicit content over here, but they were discoverable on the homepage for free. They were still wearing really tight cut, low cut top dresses,
clothes,
and sitting there doing a podcast with their other model friend, talking about whatever subject it might have been. But the whole gist of it was that the subscribe button to their OnlyFans content over here was still there. So I wonder if this is kind of like the next move. It wasn't a thing to advertise their explicit stuff. Maybe they've been trying to move away from that for a little bit now.
Maybe they're starting to head towards in that Twitch category, like we said. Actually, we spoke about that directly. We were like, in time, maybe they'll just become the new Twitch, because if you remove the explicit content away, then all you really have is live streaming. And maybe it does. Maybe that's where we go.
What if it's like the hot tub streams get frowned upon on Twitch, so they have to make a category over here. You demonetize them if they do it. It's over here. ASMR frowned upon on Twitch. Twitch puts them over here. What if OnlyFans is they're going to try and grab that sort of market, so that you go to OnlyFans and some of the content that people might make might be behind the subscription paywall, but they might still be able to create some content to lure you in as well. And I'm not saying that there'll be explicit content behind there, but just other content that's exclusive to subscribers to make you want to do it. But maybe they just become somewhere where you can go and see someone sit in a pickle with a bikini and no one frowns upon it. And so those creators go there.
I mean, that makes sense too. Take all those people who are getting soft and hard bans on the platform at the moment, and give them a place where they won't get banned. In fact, they'll get promoted on the front page. Give that's a really, really useful thing. I think that would be really good, and then it would stop all the whinging from everyone here about people taking their viewership away. Yeah, it's not on the platform anymore. Don't worry about it.
Makes a little bit of sense now that I'm thinking about it. And if they can pick up someone big too, like say like an Amaranth or something like that, just is someone that they could pick up early on and promote their new OnlyFans, could work.
Yeah, I think so too. Like create like an intimate environment that's not explicit, because obviously you don't want investors. They can't approach that stuff. As Bessia says here, which is true as well, is that having investors. They just can't come into a porn industry unless they rebrand themselves and their own thing as well. So they have to stay outside of it. But if you remove the explicit stuff, but while still keeping it a little bit, a little bit of these ones, then I think that that probably is what they're aiming to do. But that being said, it's still really weird to see. It's still really, really weird.
Huge risk though, still. Because if your platform just tanks because of the only thing that you were known for is gone, who's going to invest in that now? Like, what do you got to sell?
Yeah, no, exactly right. And like I said, the mass exodus of the pornography and the people will only lead to the creation of a new place anyway. And in the creation of that new place, will OnlyFans continue to do what it's doing, or will it also migrate over as well? Because what you do, if you're the next thing, what you do is you create the equivalent of OnlyFans TV that welcomes all these people, but then you also let them do explicit content at the same time. And then rather than go to OnlyFans, they jump to the other one. So, I don't know how they couldn't have been making enough money to not need investors. Honestly, I don't. I don't understand that. So.
Yeah, it's still
but
kind
then again,
of like
not a major business.
It's still kind of like a site that, although it was becoming more of a mainstream, in a Twitch sort of sense, not mainstream, but niche, but known. More and more people that I know that aren't in don't really follow the Twitch industry and the online sort of streaming industry at all, and content creation industry that I know in real life. I feel like only in the last sort of 6 months I heard people bringing up OnlyFans organically, and so I feel like it's only just sort of become a thing over here anyway, where people were sort of starting to take notice that aren't in sort of this sort of realm or this bubble.
I mean, I've always been pretty closely attached in one way or another to the adult industry, so it's been screaming for something like this for a very long time. Before OnlyFans existed, it had been screaming for OnlyFans, in one form or another. So it was really, really positive when it did first show up. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens from here, I guess, is sort of all I can really say about it, because we just don't know. We just don't know. We don't know what's going to happen next when it comes to this. So whether or not it becomes a completely different service or whether it dies, that's literally just for time.
Watch this space. Be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's the kind of thing about that platform that, like you're saying, it was needed in the industry. That's what it felt like to me, was that it felt, and I hope it was, but it felt like it was more like individuals and creators off the skirts of that industry that were kind of being able to create stuff and create an income for themselves in a safe manner without having to go fully into deeper into that industry, where there is obviously a lot of problems with safety for the people the creators, I guess you call them.
I mean, like I was saying before, it did give them a place, gave them a place that they didn't get to have otherwise. And not to mention it by name, because I'm pretty sure we're not supposed to, but Hub, they recently removed a whole bunch of creators who were amateur creators from their listings completely. So there was a lot of people who were working for this place who all of a sudden weren't able to make their money, weren't able to do any of that. And so now we've got a situation where you can't even get income from Hub, and you're not allowed to get an income from OnlyFans either. You know, like so it's restricted, like the sex work on a physical, like online presence immensely. Like now with those two avenues closed essentially to them, or closing, where do they go? What do they do from here? There's a bunch of other places they can do it, but none are as widely known. None exist in the mindset of everyone. Because even if I didn't push that button, you would know what I meant if I just said the word hub. You would know because it's ingrained in your brain. You'd know what I said the word OnlyFans. You know, like it's ingrained in your brain. So without it, what do? Where do they go? And now they have to find somewhere else, and it's just going to come back. It has to, because they need that. You know, these people, a lot of them, like I've got friends who work as OnlyFans celebrities, I guess you would say, and they make their whole packet from it. They make all their money from it, and it's good money too that they make from it, like thousands of dollars a day kind of money they make from it. What do they do now? What do you do now? Like, do you move directly into the adult industry, which is, again, like I said before, a very ominous and a very scary place to be? Because it's when you first break into that, you know, you hear about it all the time, you see it all the time. It's literally 60% of every Law and Order SVU episode, I'm pretty sure. You know, person becomes sex worker, person dies. You know, like, it's a scary place for someone who's on the outside looking into it. It's definitely not actually that scary in the world, but if you're on the outside and you're like interested in it, it's terrifying. And the gap that was bridged with OnlyFans and with the hub, it allowed for people to put their foot in and get some success without doing that. But now they don't have that until something else comes along. So yeah, I'm not too sure what the next step is for them, but it's definitely going to create some waves that I think we might feel in the general content creation world, because they've got to go somewhere, you know?
Yeah, that's true. It's a big risk. I find it really weird. I don't really understand the logic behind it, but oh well.
No, me either.
Not my platform.
Yeah, not my platform. As much as it probably will affect my platform in one way or another, it's not my platform. Heckin', we've got a couple of chat questions, don't we? We should have a look at that, I reckon.
A chat or Discord, you mean? Or
Discord.
Yeah, Discord questions. Let's have a look. So we'll go to the very, very secret and exclusive section of the Game On Aus Discord for all of our legends. If you've seen it come up in chat. Become a legend. They're for people who pay for an $11 subscription every month, and along with a whole host of benefits with the partners that we have on board, where you get discounts with our partners. That's not it. Didn't even do nothing.
That's not it. You tried.
It's too.
I'm going to eat a dim sim while you explain that.
There we go. So if you become a legend, it's our legendary Legends Club, and as part of that, as well as entry into exclusive giveaways that we do, and entry into our competitions, discounts at our partners that we offer through like Pensinet and PLE and Lenovo Legion. You get exclusive content from the Goa content team as well on a monthly basis. But you also get to ask questions to our podcast, Streamaholics being one of them. So we've got a couple of questions in there today, so I'm just going to go in there now. I'm just going to put in the little secret code on the front door and jump into the little secret exclusive section of our Discord. So Menthonzo's question has a hardware query here. Multiple flat monitors or one single large curved monitor? He personally dislikes curved monitors and have always advocated for multiple flat monitors.
All right, I'll give you my perspective. I was watching PewDiePie and in his latest video he is doing house tours of all the YouTube celebrities and everything like that. And today's one, I think, had Pokimane, Jeffree Star, and a couple of other people. And he was like, he saw her set up, Pokimane set up, and he's like, oh. And it was like pretty much what mine is now, you know, like screen, whatever. A few more screens than me, but screen. Yep. And he's like, look at this. And he turns like that because he's got a mirror behind him that reflects his screen. And this mirror, dead set, would be further than I can show you in my own hands. Like maybe, hang on, let's see if we can do this. Let's go. Like, yeah, even more than that. I would say more than that in size-wise. It was a screen about the same size as most of my screens, but one screen that went across the whole span of his desk. And it was just like... Monitor. It was massive though. Like it was easily the size of 4 screens going across from one side to the other, and he just had everything set up nicely across it. And I looked at that and I'm like, man, if I had the assumedly $5,000 that thing cost, like. Absolutely. I think that if you have the financial ability to buy an enormous curved monitor, you better do it. Because if you don't do it, I'm very disappointed. I wish that I had it. And if you can have it, I can have reflective glory by going to your house and licking it. Because honestly, like it's they are sexy. They look real clean. The desk has no cords. His cable management is gone. Yeah. It's just like one monitor done. Like. Yeah, that's awesome. So for me, my personal preference, I would have, if I could afford it, I would have a single monitor. I don't need to move my screens around. I don't need to who cares what angle this monitor's on? I don't give a shit about that. Okay, this one needs to be on this angle and this one needs to be on... No, it doesn't need to be. Just one big thing. Fine. Done. What do you think?
Well, no, I think exactly the same. Like, actually, starters... when I game, I still pretty much predominantly game on console, so I need 2 monitors. But let's say that was out of the picture. Like, I have 3 monitors right now, and I'm getting a 4th one with my new setup. But with the 3 monitors I got right now, they're kind of angled in, so they're kind of in a curved shape anyway. If I could have one like flash monitor that had the one thing, I'm with you. And it just looked nice too.
It's just and then because the way he's got his setup as well, he's got obviously like the table that raises and lowers, like I need one of those too so badly. A standing desk, holy shit, they're so cool. But then on top of that, he's also got the one mouse pad that goes across the whole table.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
It's like one mouse pad, a really sexy smaller keyboard with the on top of it, and like a nice mouse, and all of a sudden that table that right now, if you could see a picture of my thing, aside from this vodka gun I have, everything else here is like just cables and bullshit. I don't even know what half of it is, like, but it's just on my table because it has to be. So to be able to remove all that and just have one big screen, hell yeah. Yeah,
I'm with you. My new desk that came with it came, I was pretty sure in the description of it, it was to do with like, it was made for having a mouse on top of it, but it's not like made out of like a traditional mouse pad. But I'm wondering, like, can you get desks that have like the whole top of it is like a mouse pad?
You can, yeah.
Is that,
You can.
That'd be cool.
They do. There are a few places that make like specific desks that only have the mouse pad material on them, and even if it doesn't feel like a mouse pad, that's because it's taut around it already.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah. Cool.
But it allows for like the red, the LED, I guess it would whatever the thing is. But it allows for that to be picked up on as if it were a normal mouse pad. Again, that's sweet. Even cooler. Having a desk that's all that too.
Yeah, just
like that's cool as shit. Obviously it wouldn't have cool like glowing lights around it though. That's the only negative. But other than that, yeah. Because you imagine, you get yourself one big long screen. You put some real cool backing light there. You take some cool photos with all the things glowing, and yeah, that's the dream. Like that's really what you want to be doing.
Yeah. No, I've seen that setup. King Gothalion uses one. That's where I've seen him. He got one like last year, I think. And imagine 2 of them though. I wouldn't have a place for my camera. Just another one above my camera and another one here. Just look like a spaceship.
Yeah, I love that too. Like that's why that what's that chair? That scorpion chair. That's super appealing in the nerdiest kind of way. The chair that actually looks like a droideka from Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like you sit in it and the three screens like fold down over in front of you. And...
Oh yes, I've seen that. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bit too far, but if I had the money.
Yeah. I don't know how I'd ever get up out of that chair. Like.
Yeah, well, you don't have to. You build the toilet into it and you're done.
Yeah, we'll end up like the people on the end of Wall-E.
Yeah, exactly right. And that's what that reminds me of, actually. Yeah, absolutely. It absolutely reminds me of that. But yeah, at the same time, like, you should be able to be in comfort with what you're doing on stream. So if you're more comfortable with a couple of screens, have a couple of screens. If you're more comfortable with like one big screen, do that because I know what I would prefer, but everyone's different. At the end of the day, like I've got mates who have like a massive screen behind them. They don't even use it when they stream. It plays like music video clips, or at the moment he actually has it set up to play like a window with rain hitting it. So it looks like there's a window behind him, even though it's like, even though it's just a screen behind him, and you can tell it's a screen, but it's a cool little visual effect.
Yeah. Nice, I like that.
But yeah, stuff like that, you know, like why would you ever, if it was me, I'd have that massive freaking screen in front of me so I could see everything. But, you know, like, I don't know. It comes down to personal preference, I think, when it comes to peripherals. I think the second question is peripheral based as well, isn't it?
Well, yeah, so Kaiju Kai asks, for newer streamers, what is some streaming gear that is an absolute necessity, and what could someone on a budget cut corners on? So, it could be peripheral, but a bit of everything there he's asking for. I'll
let you go first. I want to see what your thoughts are.
What is a streaming gear that is absolute necessity? Well, a decent PC, even if it's a half decent PC, I think is good, or a decent gaming laptop, because that's the one thing you're going to really need if you're going to stream from. Otherwise, what are you doing? You're streaming from like PlayStation directly to Twitch or something. So I guess the PC would be the main thing. We actually did I'm trying to remember some of the stuff. We actually did a guide on this. I think it was our very first content guide we did for the Legends Club, actually, that they had access to. But there was a heap of things we talked about, but PC is the main thing as a necessity. And what could someone budget cut corners on? You can budget cut corners on everything. Like I've got some Flash stuff, but like a Stream Deck. But if you've got a mobile phone, you can use that as a Stream Deck. You could also use a mobile phone as a camera if you need to. They've got good cameras on mobile phones these days, even cheap ones.
And you've got Droid Cam as well. Like honestly, using Droid Cam is definitely a real option for people.
And what's Droid Cam? Explain Droid Cam to the
So Droid Cam is a free app on the Apple and also the Google stores, which essentially allows you to take your footage, and it doesn't even have to be wired. It can be a wireless connection, but take your camera footage and directly link it through to your OBS. So if you are using, you decide that you want to use the camera, but you don't really have one, you can just go there and essentially get like whatever content is on here as your actual content on the screen. It creates a new source in your OBS, and it's literally just a matter of just assigning it like you would any other camera. The really good thing about that is it allows you to move around the house. So if I was doing a poolside stream, which we probably will do in the future, that is one of the things that I would like to do in the future for sure, like barbecue stream, get a bunch of other content creators. Big pickle. I'll sit on a pickle.
Looking forward to it.
But the idea of getting like a bunch of content creators around from Perth and just kind of having them poolside, having some drinks, having some chats, maybe like an interview set, because we have got the set being built at the moment for the stream, for the other podcast.
Nice.
So when that's finished, like the concept of like having a bunch of the friends around Perth just sitting around having a few drinks, playing some cards, cooking some barbecue food, whatever it might be, behind a bar, rather than having to go get my other camera, which I probably will anyway, but rather having to take my setup camera and taking it out there, I could have secondary angles with my phone, like I could do like a grill cam and have like a camera, my phone sitting above the barbecue, so that you can see like the people who are talking around the grill, and then have like a deck cam and people who are sitting on the deck, whatever it might be.
Or you just put it on the sausages and just tell chat to keep an eye on the sausages so you can wander around.
Yeah. Just say, "Oi, chat, all right, let us know when I need to turn them. I'm real bad at barbecue. Just let me know when to turn them, and I'll turn them." And but you could really easily do that with an app like Droid Cam. It's literally all it does is it asks you for your IP address, and it that's how it finds the camera, and that's how it finds your computer. It's a two-step process. It takes no time at all to do. But I know people who still stream with Droid Cam only, and they've been streaming for months.
Yeah, right.
Like they don't even own a camera at this point, because the camera, there's still 48 megapixel cameras these days, or whatever it is on a phone. It's still high quality. Most of them have like a 4K facility, and as long as your internet connection works, then that's all you really need to worry about.
Yep.
So yeah, Droid Cam's really, really good. You can do that with Stream Decks as well. I've got a friend, Macro Mark. He actually uses a macro keyboard that he has built, hence his name. But he's built like this like shitty looking like box like this, and it just has a bunch of buttons that aren't even numbered. They're just bread buttons on a board, but they are all tied to macros, which then go to his computer, which allow him to do a bunch of amazing effects on his stream.
Yeah,
That cost him like $30, he reckons. And now most Stream Decks, I think that he said there's like 90 buttons on it. Most Stream Decks will run you, for an XL Stream Deck, you're looking at $469 at a sort of a minimum, I think, for the XL. So you can cut costs there, you know. When it comes to capture cards, you don't have to use Elgato. As much as we love Elgato, and I will use it always, until the next best thing comes along, you don't have to. You can get cheap as shit ones from eBay, you know. Go to Kogan, that website there. You can easily find something else. But yeah, like honestly, there are so many options when it comes to cutting corners. The only thing that I would suggest is that you don't cut quality where possible. So yes, it's okay to cut corners on cost, but don't cut corners where it comes to how much quality you can put out there. So if your camera's going to look like shit, don't do it. You know, like I would just take the extra step to get like a better looking camera. That being said, Droid Cam, you shouldn't run into that problem anyway. But if you're gonna have a shit looking camera, upgrade that. If the games don't work properly because your computer's not good enough, in that case, I would suggest getting a capture card and running through a PlayStation through it, or running a Nintendo Switch through it. Because that way you always know that the quality of the games will be at the same level no matter what. You know, you'll never have to worry about screen dips and then frame rate drops and all that kind of stuff, because it'll all be, you know, running through the PlayStation's hardware rather than your PC. That's a great alternative to having a powerful ass PC, because that shit's expensive. You know, these days you're spending $4,000 for a graphics card. So yeah, there are ways around it, absolutely, and you can do this on the cheap. I got my first keyboard and mouse I got from Harvey Norman, I think, for $60, and it was like a combo keyboard and mouse, had LED lights and everything. In fact, I still use the keyboard now because I haven't got a new one yet. But yeah, like, you can build a pretty decent setup for, you know, fairly cheap. It's just one thing to remember is that you get out what you put in. So if you put low effort into it and you get it on the cheap in a cheap way, and you put it out there in a cheap way and you expect results, you won't get them. But if you do something on the cheap that has good quality, and you can see that you're actually making an effort to make it work and you're learning new things, then it's infinitely going to be better for you.
Yeah, for sure. There's another good cheap one you can do too. If, like, instead of worrying about buying all sort of flash stuff and doing up a room like this, I always suggest too, it might be cheaper to get just a couple of cheaper lights and just a piece of material from Spotlight and do a green screen. You can always do that option too, which then you don't have to worry about what you've got in the room and making everything look flash and painting a wall and doing all the stuff that I've done here.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like, I don't know if you remember seeing my setup before we moved house, but I literally did that. Like, that was literally my actual setup. I wonder if I can remake it. Yeah, like my whole setup actually used to be completely that. So if I go like that for a second, I can actually probably replicate that how it used to be. Here, okay, that's actually already working the way it should be. Because I didn't have, everything set up in the way that it should be, because we were moving house and, it's expensive. You know what I mean? So I didn't have the facility to be able to do it. But I reckon if I go here, well, there you go. There's my background. Yeah. And that background, it when a time where I could not make it work. I could not have my setup the way that I wanted it to be. In that time, there you go. That could maybe work. I haven't done this in such a long time.
No, I do remember when you were using it like that too, and I remember not knowing for a little bit. I'd watched the bits and pieces of your streams and didn't even know that you had the you had it in set up properly then, where you didn't even know that it wasn't a real background.
Yeah. Like obviously, I've got like a filter or something on my camera right now that's creating some weird lighting effects
cool,
here. But like this setup behind me, and the one that I had on the foreground there a second ago, that one I used for ages. Like, and I'll just bring that up just so you can see that by itself for a second. But I had a whole bunch of different things set up for it. I had things like Baby Yoda sitting there, talking, cool. Hanging out with me, and the seat was there. I had a Minecraft world. We had like more Millennium Falcon stuff, a Dragon Ball Z one. I actually had variants of my setup as well, like depending on the color. And these are recorded; they're not photos. That's like a video that's recorded for everything. This is fine. Five Nights at Freddy's, a beach setup, Jacksepticeye's setup, Zelda, and then the actual my Saiyan Pod one. But yeah, like the whole thing was really. It allowed me to have this setup that wasn't, typical, because it wasn't like I didn't have the money. I didn't have the money to be able to fix my background at that time.
Yeah.
But I did have the facility to, create things with graphics and stuff like that.
Yeah, which can be a lot cheaper than trying to make something look really nice in the background too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, all that shit in the background that I showed you just from that first one there, that was a lot of money worth of like toys and stuff that's sitting there. Like it was a lot of stuff in the background there, and not everyone can do that.
I used to use one sometimes when I stopped doing the Radman. That was it was like a brick wall with it had some beams of light, pink and blue, coming down from the top, but it was just lighting up a brick wall, which I put in the background. And some people thought that was my real wall behind me.
Yep.
That's cheap as. I didn't build a wall, I didn't paint, I didn't get no lights on the wall. There's nothing.
No, exactly right. You can be literally in a cupboard, you know what I mean? Like I know that like Matt Pat from Game Theory, he literally spent most of his early YouTube career recording in a cupboard because that's where he got the best acoustics.
Yeah. I've heard about that for people that do podcasts. It's brilliant what some people do.
Yeah. If we didn't do a visual one, that could be an idea for next week, but we do a visual one, so that's
Looking ship in the closet.
Oh yeah, you're going to see me in one of them for sure, but I haven't been in one of those for a long while. You can definitely do it on the sly, you can definitely do it on the cheap, but like I said before, the difference between doing it on the cheap and doing it on the cheap is significant. You can do it for cheap and still have a really cool setup, or you can do it for cheap and it looks like shit, and people will see through. People will see through it. People always come to me and they say, why come my streams don't have people? And I say, well, for one, your grammar is terrible. But for two, it's because you don't do anything to make it appealing. So you don't, I don't see effort in what you do. I don't see you putting in work. I see you turning on a computer or turning on your Xbox and turning on a camera and sitting in front of the camera and expecting there to be 30 people in there. If you took the time to make a few little improvements every day, once a week, once a month to your streams, then you would see the return on that investment, because people want to know you care. Who wants to go to a stream and watch someone who doesn't give a shit about the stream, and then not on top of that, but then give them money? That makes no, and this is we're ranting a little bit here, but that doesn't make any sense to me personally. I don't see the value in that. No. I don't see the value in that. And even these big YouTubers and these big streamers and all these guys who do have a successful run of things, and the ones who don't talk very much or do anything, the camera's still real good. They got cool alerts. Their mod teams are incredible. They probably produce content elsewhere that's amazing. You can't just pretend to be XQC and then get XQC's money. That's not how it works. Yeah, that's my perspective on literally that whole thing. I think that, you can smell effort. You can definitely, people vibe and people will gravitate towards effort. And when you don't show it, you're not going to see a return on it. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. I 100% agree. It's just basically you're just looking for like, well, I need this thing, but what's the cheapest way I can do that same thing, like as the expensive thing? So you're just trying to look for the not shortcuts, like you say. You still got to make it look good, but what's the cheapest way I can make it look pretty much the same as that other thing?
Yeah, you should be trying to say to yourself, what's the best way? What's the cheapest way I can make my stream look the best it can look? Not what's the cheapest way to make my stream. Like, you need to have that extra part on there.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But yeah, we're pretty close to your time, aren't we? I think.
Yeah. Did you have anything else before we go that you wanted to cover?
I think that we're pretty all right. Like that was a bit of a mini rant. This has been the second week, I guess, in total of a bit of a rushed episode. From this week onwards, though, I think we're going to be pretty all right. Like I said, we just had a lot going on in the past few weeks with the baby coming and with the birthday just today, and we had the day off the week before last, and we've had a few weeks where things have been a little bit up in the air. But I hope you guys have been enjoying what we're doing. Like I've been enjoying what we've been doing. It's one of my favorite days of the week is to get in here and just talk shit for a bit and not care about how many people are watching, and not have to focus on anything.
Friday.
And yeah, we got to get down on Friday. That's another big thing too. If you make your VOD an entertaining thing to see, it will pull people to watch your live stream. Well, that's it. Every VOD should be entertaining. Like, every VOD should be entertaining. You should be able to do fun stuff on a stream to make it engaging for people to come back. And that all comes down to the effort that you put in. That really, really does. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's my perspective on the whole thing. Heckin' Lukey. Well, if people were so inclined, where would they find you on the internet?
Oh, if they were looking for me on the internet...
Obviously not on OnlyFans.
No, not on OnlyFans. That's my whole plan to show my nude feet on OnlyFans is probably going to go on the back burner now.
Yep.
No, I would probably type in the name Lukey Bangerz, exactly as it's written underneath me right here, with a Z because I'm cool, onto any of the platforms, whether it be Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook. I think that's all of them. All of the main ones. Even YouTube, I don't put anything on there yet, so but those are the main ones. And you'll find me. But what about you, the Warship? Where can we find
Warship?
You?
Everywhere but stupid Twitter. Still. But, if you look me up at The Warship, you'll find me everywhere. I also stream at the moment 5 nights a week right here on Twitch. However, in the next few, maybe in a month or so, we might do a few extra ones, little special secret ones over on the Blue brand. So keep an eye out for that. And we'll see how we go from there. But yeah, find me at The Warship practically everywhere except for Twitter, where you can find me at _Warship. And yeah, that pretty much wraps up what we've done today.
Yeah,
hopefully you guys enjoyed yourselves. We did.
We sure did. Thank you, chat.
I don't think you'll be going on from here, will you? I think you'll be wrapping up as well. So
that's it now. That's it for me.
Yep, cool.
Done.
All right.
Have a good weekend, everybody. Have a good weekend, Chippy.
Yeah, you too. And we'll see you next time on Streamaholics.
Wow, I hope you enjoyed that show. And if you want to make sure that you stay up to date with everything that Game On Aus has to offer here on YouTube, make sure you click the subscribe button. That's the best way.